Childish, oh shit. Last time I checked, I was still a kid. Childish, childish. This all freaks me out a bit. Childish, oh shit. How can I parent when I'm still a kid? Childish, oh shit. Who the hell decided I was ready for this?
Hey kids, Greg Fitzsimmons here.
Alison Rosen here.
My God, together, we're childish here.
That's right. It's so good to see you. It's been some time.
It has. You know, we've been apart, but we get your guys' emails and your voicemails, and we send them back and forth. So we're in touch, and it builds up in a beautiful way, much like the sex when you have children. It sort of builds. It doesn't happen for a while, and then when it does, it's just explosive.
Sometimes it's fast, explosive but fast.
It's usually not over an hour, which is ours, which is why it's so intense.
Yes, it's just the perfect. It's like the sex that you want on your commute. It's the perfect sex for your commute, if you're washing dishes.
And then you get to work and you have to slump over and take a little nap before you go into work.
These are jokes that harken back to a simpler time before we were all working from home. Although I feel like people are starting to go back to work, at least according to the news. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the jobless rate went way down, and then they adjusted it and said it didn't go that far down. But I know my wife is back to work, my daughter's back to work, my son is back to work, and I never stopped working.
How is it looking for stand-up for you, though?
Not good. Not good. Not a lot of people rushing to get into a room where you're literally, as you laugh, expelling droplets of whatever diseases you have in you.
Right.
So the clubs, I mean, I've got a bunch of dates. I got one in August, and then I have a bunch in the fall. And I'm expecting they're going to open, but with the room will be half filled, and they're going to space everybody out, which is literally the worst recipe for comedy. You need everybody to be packed together and right towards the stage for it to work, and add masks on top of that.
I have a lot of things to say about this. First of all, how can they be profitable when they are removing so many seats? And the same question for theater, if that's going to reopen, and for movie theaters and all this stuff. And I'm I'm in favor of doing the thing that's the most safe. I'm just curious financially if they're bringing in half the crowd.
I don't know. Maybe they were making twice as much as we thought they were before.
Oh.
No, I think
bastards.
I think they got to just push more chicken wings. You know, mozzarella sticks. They'll make up for it.
And then my next thing is, and I'm also very pro mask. However, when I see newscasters wearing masks and I respect that they're doing that, it still bumps me because it's just hard to focus on what someone's saying when you can't see their mouth.
Oh, you mean you think the comedians will have to wear masks?
Oh, that's what I thought you were saying.
No, the audience has to wear masks.
Okay. So you'll maybe they'll be behind a sneeze glass because you're going to be expelling at them.
I almost feel like I have to go out and catch the virus and then get rid of it so that people can be told before they come to the show
that you have the antibodies.
That I have the antibodies.
Except that they don't know how long that lasts.
I know.
If you were going to go try to get it, where would you go?
Florida. They seem to be enamored with getting it. Maybe I'll go to a couple of those pool parties in the Ozarks.
Right. Go to Vegas.
Is Vegas open yet?
Oh, yeah. Have you not seen pictures? No, not a mask in sight. People are just whooping it up.
Yeah.
Speaking of COVID, are you following Lori Kilmartin's Twitter feed?
No.
So her mom...
Love Lori Kilmartin.
She's the best. And do you remember some years ago, she kind of live tweeted her dad's death? And it was...
Yeah.
It was really sad but really well done. So anyway, her mom is dying of COVID right now.
No.
Yes. In fact, we're recording this on a Monday. Childish comes out on a Wednesday. I don't know. Her mom will probably have died by then.
Oh,
it's been going on now for a couple days. And yeah, so she is tweeting about that experience, and it is
shit.
It's really sad. It's really sad and really sobering. But also, she had a complicated relationship with her mom, right? Is that your?
I don't remember, but I think she took the one about her dad and turned it into a book, didn't she?
Oh, maybe she did.
I think she might have.
So she would make, I hope I'm not wrong, but she would make jokes at her mom, because I think her mom voted for Trump and is right wing, and she's very politically active. And so she would make jokes at her mom's expense all the time. And I think that her mom was living with her for a while. But right now, it's like very clear how much her mom means to her. Her mom caught it in a nursing home. I guess she went into a nursing home after surgery, and that's where she caught it. And now she's in a hospital, in hospice, like dying. And she's not been able to be by her mom, but she and her sister lobbied the hospital to let them visit. And the last tweet I saw was they were on their way to the hospital. I don't know if they got word that they were going to be allowed to see her wearing PPE, or if they're just going to go to the hospital and plead with the hospital. But yeah, it's in case anyone out there thinks this is gone, COVID is gone, it's not gone.
No, cases are actually up in a lot of states.
Yeah.
And especially the ones that have relaxed social distancing. But that seems to be the consensus is, the lieutenant governor of Texas came out, and he's 70, and he said that it's killing the economy and that he's willing to sacrifice himself in order to get things back to usual. He's like, yep. He goes, let's relax social distancing. Look, 90% of the people that die are over the age of 60.
Mm-hmm.
So kids are not dying of COVID, with very few exceptions.
Right.
And so teenagers and kids in their 20s feel impervious to it because they are. And so as a nation, we've just kind of decided, well, they're
Fuck 'em.
old.
Fuck
They
'em.
lived a full life.
I don't know. I feel like there is a bit of a middle ground between just deciding like, hey, what are you going to do? Fuck them. And deciding we have to, stay home and not take any risk. I feel like
I think it's really just masks. Let's get over it.
Yeah.
Wear a fucking mask.
Just wear it. It's not
You
that
can
hard.
go out. You can go out. Just wear a fucking mask. That's all.
And by the way, I agree. They're uncomfortable. They give you chin zits. Everything fogs up. They're unpleasant, but it's a small thing to do to reduce chances of spreading this thing, which
It will literally, studies say it will lower it by 70% if you wear masks. That translates to tens of thousands of deaths. Wear a fucking mask. Get over it. Stop pretending that America is about your right to do whatever the fuck you want anytime, and fuck everybody who gets sick from it. Fuck old people. They're bad for the economy anyway. When they die, we don't have to pay Social Security to them. We don't have to pay Medicare bills. They're expensive. Let's quietly get rid of them.
this attitude of fuck and kill all the old people, do you think that is because these people they hate their own parents, or they don't have parents? I'm just realizing.
Interesting. Yeah. Maybe for some people, yeah, that maybe the people that really don't give a shit are the ones that don't care about their parents. But and the sick, and people that have compromised immune systems. Fuck them. They're expensive.
Yeah, I don't like that one bit.
No.
So what is your life? So regarding COVID and the risk of it, like what is your lifestyle like now?
It was good for a while. I really, I would exercise with my son a lot. I was writing. I was, I launched my other podcast. And so I was pretty busy with 3 podcasts. But I kind of hit the wall. And I kind of started getting in a rut, I think, in the last couple weeks. And it was all just shit that I was pushing down. It was the reality of, and I think it was a lot of the protesting and the police violence I'm watching on TikTok. And it's really built up. And I have to get off TikTok. I think it's bad for my head because it's a weird combination, because I started off because I like to see rednecks flip their cars in mud ponds.
Sure.
And I like to see pranks, like some pranks. And then it throws in, a hot chick in a bikini every 15 or so, which gives you a nice little smile. And then they started entering into like cops beating people. And now I go from like being angry and sick at seeing people get beaten to titillated by chicks in bikinis.
Oh,
and
no.
The overall feeling then is confusion and exhaustion.
Are you worried that you're going to start being turned on by brutality?
Well, those batons, I get a baton going when I watch. I'm gonna go to marches just to see if something good happens. Have you marched?
I haven't, but this is gonna sound so inert, but I'm there in spirit, and I'm also there a bit financially. But no, I haven't. I'm too nervous about COVID and violence breaking out. But I feel like I should go. I should go, right?
Are they marching near you?
I don't know. There was a protest in downtown Burbank, which was by all accounts super peaceful. So that one I could have done. And then we were driving somewhere the other day and passed like a really small protest. So that one seemed like reasonable.
You mean little people were protesting in the streets?
That is not what I mean. I mean reasonable people. That's not what I mean either. No, I just mean
they would need like extra
size-wise.
long handles on their signs.
So you have though, right?
Yeah, we've marched a few times, and we went to a demonstration at a church. There's this great old church in Venice that's pretty famous for it's the first Baptist church, and it's been African-American church in Venice for a long time, a lot of history. And it just got purchased by the Penske family, like Penske Oil, and they bought like 5 properties around the church, and they're buying the church, and they're gonna convert it into whatever nightmare of a mansion they're building.
Oh,
so there was a big demonstration for that to try to save it. I don't know how things work anymore. The neighborhood doesn't have as many black people as it used to, so the church, I think, doesn't have the financial support. So we'll see if they can raise some awareness.
I do wonder if when they're older, my kids are going to be like, and where did you march? Or why didn't you march? Like I feel like this is kind of an important civil rights moment we're living through. And I feel like I should be a part of it. But like I said, I'm scared of COVID and I'm scared of violence.
Well, we had, speaking of this, there was a nice letter. I want to read it now. We usually wait for emails, but this comes from Corey Sabista from Anoka, Minnesota.
That's so Minnesotan, the city and the state.
I know. Yeah. Hi, Greg and Alison. I know you try to stay away from politics, but I think now more than ever, the importance of teaching children equality and recognizing and rejecting bigotry. I have 2 children. I'm a white mother with white kids. What are the odds? And live in Minnesota. I guess you could have a black husband, but it is Minnesota, so probably not.
I didn't. This has been eye-opening to me about what Minnesota's like. I mean, not that
I know
it's all like that, but still. Go ahead.
We're about 20 minutes from Minnesota, where Mr. Floyd was horrifically murdered. My daughter's best friend is black, and it breaks my heart to see my daughter realize that people will treat her friend different from her just based on the color of her skin. My sister and I decided to take our daughters, who are both 9, down to pay our respects at the memorial that's been created. We stopped to purchase flowers for the girls to lay, said a prayer in his memory, spoke about what we prayed for, and then walked around and let them ask any questions they may have. The site has been turned into a place of art, action, and remembrance that covers almost an entire city block. The people there to pay their respects were all ages, colors, and walks of life, and the environment was solemn but positive. Reflecting on it, I am glad I took my daughter. She may not realize the magnitude of what is happening in her city, but I hope she grows up knowing how much her mother wants a better and more equal world for her to live in. So I think that kind of moved me. I think it is an important thing to show. Your kids are a little young to show this too.
I have really I've been thinking a lot about that. I've been thinking, how much should I be exposing Elliot to this? Because I don't think he would understand. I mean, I think it would overload him.
Yeah.
Although that's like, I totally get that it's white privilege to have the choice of opting out of that discussion at this young an age. I think what I would rather do is buy books that have people of all colors and let him,
like Huckleberry Finn.
I feel like that one might be a little beyond him as well. I feel Huck Finn, Invisible Man, the poetry of Langston Hughes, all of this I would like to read to him before bed. So yeah, I think just, to just expose him more, because his preschool is, which his preschool, which I still don't know if we're going back to or not, awfully white.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know the answers to that. I don't know what the age is that you can take them to. I mean, almost 99% of demonstrations are peaceful now and very positive. It might be something to consider. I mean, he's a pretty sharp kid for his age, and it might be an image that he takes away, but it's something that you and Daniel need to talk about.
Yeah, I think we should. Thank you for this conversation. You have lit a fire under my white. Well,
thank Corey Sebesta from Anoka, Minnesota.
Thank you, Corey. If anyone else would like to write in to the show, it's childishpod@gmail.com. We also take voicemails, and we're going to play some later. The number there is 805-317-4243. Follow us on social media @childishpod. And I would like to thank you guys for your very nice Apple Podcast reviews. And I'm going to embarrass Greg by reading one right now. Best of Both Worlds. So this is a review on Apple Podcasts. You might know it as iTunes. That's what I still think of it as, but they've changed their name. But anyway, reviews help the show so much, and you guys are so awesome at leaving them for us. Best of Both Worlds. I've been following Greg since Idiot Savants and Alison since her Corolla tryouts, parentheses rooted for her the entire time. Hopefully not complisulting, but this is my favorite of either of their work. I appreciate the turn of fate that I had a kid right in time with this podcast existing. Thanks for making a great show together. And that was from Word Salad Days. Thank you, Word Salad Days.
Wow, 1997, Idiot Savants. Game show.
How many seasons was that on?
Just 2. But they were like the best times of my life. I mean, I really feel like that was like, if I could have kept that show going for years, we had so much fun.
Yeah.
And it was a cool, different kind of a show, but it was a game show. And the guy that created it, Mike Dugan, is one of my best friends. I married him and his wife. I was ordained and I married them. And we decided to go try to sell another game show, 20 years later. And so we put this game show together called One Love. And we were only able to pitch it to like 2 places before everything got quarantined. We slipped in and we had like 5 other places we were going to that all got canceled. And one of the places we pitched was Comedy Central. And last week they bought it. So we sold the show.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
congratulations!
Me and Dugan. So
look at you.
Yeah,
that's so great.
Yeah, back to work.
Wow. Because I knew there was. I knew about. I was waiting to find out what happened. Yeah. And so they bought it. That's so great. So what is this? So what does this mean? Now what?
Now we write it up and wait for the day when you can actually get people together and get some cameras and shoot something, and then we'll see what happens. Shoot a pilot, and then hopefully we get picked up and run it for about 5 years, and then Fitzdog says, "Peace out, I'm done."
That's so cool. So did you just get a call? Like, how did it all happen?
Yeah, it originally happened. We pitched it to the network, and it was a long story, but we sold it. And then the executives at Comedy Central all got fired one day. It was a big news story. So done. So we were dead. And then the new executives came in, and there was one executive that didn't get fired who was the one that loved our show, and he pitched it to the bosses, and they bought it again.
That's so cool.
So we got a call from our agent last week, and he told us. And now, now we got to start working.
So how are you feeling? Because my sense, and tell me if I'm wrong, my sense of your outlook during COVID, during the lockdown and shutdown and all that, my sense has been that this has been a bit hard for you not to have the financial and career outlets that you normally have.
I feel fortunate because, again, like I do have the podcast to do, and I think I'm the kind of person that, because I went into an industry that's so difficult to begin with, like stand-up comedy, when you're just trying to break into it, just seems like you got to be crazy. There's no way I'm going to be able to make a living at this. And so the only way to do it is to bullshit yourself and just not ever think that it's not going to happen. You just get into a mindset that I'm going to put everything into this. And that whole thing of like, if you look down, you're going to go down. If you look up, you're going to go up. So during this pandemic, I've just looked at it like, I started doing way more social media, making videos, and I kind of took that energy and I put it into that, because if I sat still and started to feel sorry for myself, then I feel like it would all end. So there hasn't really been a moment where I can't do that. I can't.
Right. So, but has this news given you a lift, like a little shot in the arm?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. And then there's, a couple other things going on that I think are good. So it feels like it has for 31 years. You just like, you try to throw irons in the fire, you try to show up. And I really believe that if you just show up and give it your best work, I really do think things always work out. That sounds trite, but that's all you can do.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy for you. That's great. So, Greg, Father's Day is coming up. It is.
Oh, that's right.
Sunday.
Is it this Sunday?
Yes. It came out, for me personally, I feel like it came out of nowhere. What do you guys do on Father's Day? And also, I want to know, like, what do you consider a good gift? Because I just read this list of gifts, and the first one was like an artisanal nail brush. And I'm like, that does not sound like a good gift to me. I can't
What's
imagine.
What's an artisanal nail brush?
Like a handmade small batch nail brush made out of wood and like rope, and to clean your nails,
To clean your fingernails?
Yeah. Have you never even seen a nail brush?
No.
Really? How do you clean your fingernails?
I bite it with my teeth when I'm driving.
Oh my God. So Daniel is a bad nail biter, and the click, click, click of the nails is like my least favorite sound. I'm sure if and when he dies, and it's a when because we're all going to die, if he goes first, I'll miss that obnoxious sound. But right now, I can't stand it. But anyway, yeah, a nail brush is like a thing you rub your nails on it. It's got stiff bristles. But that doesn't sound like a good gift. So all of a sudden I got an idea of a gift for him, but then he mentioned one to me, which is like, 10 times as expensive. And so now that he's told me what he wants and it's 10 times more expensive, I'm like, I don't know if I can give him my cheaper version.
What is it?
What he wants is like a really nice lens for the camera that's like $1,000.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. He was like, I just have he didn't say I want this for Father's Day. He said, so I have an idea of something that could be like a combined Father's Day birthday gift, because his birthday is in August. That's just a hefty chunk of change.
Well,
that's a lot of money.
Do you guys have a neighbor who doesn't have shades or something? What's with the $1,000 lens?
Right. I said, like, what does it do? And it's like, it would just take really nice, even better photos, because he has a nice camera.
Yeah.
Even higher res. It's like, how high does the res need to be?
Right. Do we need to see the pores in my nose?
Yeah. Maybe we've gone too far in the direction of res. Because I feel like right now with these photos, they're already humongous. But anyway, what I wanted to give him, and I'm going to trust that he doesn't listen to this, from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to bed, he wears jeans. He does not have sweatpants, pajama pants, relaxed people. Sorry. The moment he goes to bed, he takes them off and then he just wears, his underwear to bed. But I feel like everyone needs a nice pair of lounge pajama pants. So that's what I was going to get him.
Yeah, I think, $8.99 versus $1,000. That's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it?
Well, for me.
Can I tell you an even cheaper gift, Allison? And I think I've suggested it in the past.
Yes,
breakfast in bed. You give him breakfast in bed. He's going to love that. And then you give him a blowjob. That is the greatest gift you can give him. It will cost you no money, and you can give him some fucking Target pajama pants and put a smile on his face. He's not going to give a shit what you give him after that. How long's a blowjob last? 12 minutes?
If even that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, unless I get one of those like, slow down. Then that tacks on a couple minutes. Because sometimes there's like a desire to luxuriate and appreciate it versus to get the like express work.
Yeah, well, maybe you gotta maybe you put on like The Doors has a song called The End, and it's 13 minutes and 5 seconds, and you just put it on. And you go, sweetie. You go, sweetie. When this song is over, that's the end.
Yeah. What a weird, surreal blowjob that would be.
Mother? Yes, son. I want to.
So is that what you usually get?
I'm going to ask for it this year. It's pretty much an on-demand thing. I shouldn't say the word demand. That's an expression. Right. But if it is asked for at an appropriate time in an appropriate manner, it is in fact brought forth.
So should I go blowjob, pants, or lens?
I think you say to him, "I bought you these pants. I want to see you in them." And then he puts them on, and then you go, "Is that an elastic waistband?" And he'll say, "Yeah." And you go, "Let me see what I can do with that."
And then also not get the lens.
He doesn't need a lens.
There's certain, you know what? I'm going to move on because what I was going to say is I feel like the lens is going to come into our life regardless. It's either going to be a gift from me or it's going to be something that he buys himself, but there'll be a discussion about. So I don't know.
I think if you buy him the lens, then you have him go down on you.
I wish I had it in front of me. There's a funny Onion headline about Mother's Day, and it's like, mother, let me find it.
I think there's actually something really nice about being told you're going to receive oral sex. So you think about it, you look forward to it. There's a little ceremony to it. Like maybe you say tonight, why don't you take a shower around 9 o'clock once we put the kids down. And then I'm going to give you the best blowjob you've ever had in your life. And it will be the best because he's been thinking about it all day. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Okay, I found it. Breakfast in bed served to mom who just got eaten out. And it was on Mother's Day that they did that.
Yeah.
All right. I say, speaking of Father's Day, and I would give this to Daniel, except I've already given it to him and I've already given it to my dad. Finding the perfect present for dad is tough, especially if you don't have the luxury of celebrating Father's Day in person. I know that more than anything, parents cherish spending time with family. That's why I gave my dad the most meaningful gift, a chance to connect with loved ones through Storyworth. Greg, are you familiar with Storyworth? It is. Every time I mention it to people and they get it, I hear from them that it was like the best gift ever. What they do is, they're this company that so you buy it for a loved one, and they receive story prompts each week asking them a question, like, and there's a whole list of questions, and you can choose which ones, you can add your own, but it's like, tell me about when you learned to drive. Tell me about the, odd jobs you had growing up. And so they respond, or they can call in, and it collects all their memories. And then at the end of a year, they take all of these memories and they bind them into this beautiful hardbound book. So it's like a great way to have like, oh, here's, all about your grandfather, all about your dad, all about your whoever you give it to. It's just, and I thought I knew everything about my dad, but I learned all sorts of things about him. And if the examples of questions that I just said right now don't entice you, they have even better, different questions. It's a fun and meaningful way to engage with family, especially with relatives you might not get to see often. Every week, Storyworth emails your family member different story prompts, questions you've never thought to ask, like what have been some of life's greatest surprises? What was one of the riskiest things you've ever done? And then after 1 year, they compile them into a beautiful keepsake book. Give your dad the most meaningful gift this year with Storyworth. Get started right away without the need for shipping by going to storyworth.com/childish. You'll get $10 off your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/childish, storyworth.com/childish for $10 off. All right. I say, let's get into some voicemails. What do you think?
Should we do the news?
Let's do the news.
Time for the news.
All right.
This just in from Binghamton University. I always like that sound, Binghamton. Don't you always think of like Bing?
Yeah.
Hampton.
I don't, but from now on I will.
My nephew goes to SUNY Binghamton, and or actually doesn't technically. It's the best SUNY school. The New York State schools.
Right.
It's the hardest to get into. So he didn't officially get in. They let him in, but they said you have to go to this 2-year community college in Binghamton.
Oh.
And when you finish that, you can finish out at the university, but you still live in the SUNY Binghamton dorms. In Binghamton. And so we call him Rudy because he's got to go to that community college first. Anyway, let's get serious. Researchers from that same school said that early exposure to anesthetics may make adolescents more susceptible to developing alcohol use disorder. To test it, they exposed early adolescent male rats to general anesthetic and then tested them on various alcohol-induced behaviors later in adolescence or adulthood. They found that exposure in adolescents had extremely similar behavioral and neural effects as adolescent chronic alcohol exposure. These rats also showed an increase in voluntary alcohol consumption and cognitive impairment throughout adulthood. So you want to think about if your kid's going to get surgery, and sometimes it's an option. Like for instance, for dental work, sometimes you can put the kid under, and sometimes you don't. So based on this, I would recommend that you really avoid anesthetics as much as you can.
And also, if you have a pet rat,
that's right.
I would avoid giving them alcohol. When a rat is an adolescent and then later in adulthood, that's like a week later, right?
It's a week later. And if they get a drinking problem, then they do crazy stuff. They'll start hitting on mice, gerbils. So
no holds barred.
No holds barred. And
I wonder if the adolescent male rats are like adolescent male humans in that what horny and stinky? I don't know what adolescent boys are like. I'm worried because I have 2 boys who are going to be adolescent boys, and I feel like I'm ill prepared for that whole phase of life.
They're very they challenge you. You know, there really is an Oedipal thing that happens where my son was challenging me on something the other day, and instead of it being a discussion, it got he got really worked up. Everything has to be a win or a loss when he has an argument with me. And so they kind of fight their way out of the house. Even though we have a very close relationship, it's really great. We do a lot of stuff together. Once in a while, I see these flashes of kind of testing me.
Mm-hmm, like competition. Did your kids have anesthesia young?
My son broke a lot of bones. So yeah, he had anesthesia a few times. He broke both wrists playing soccer by landing on them. He got kicked in the face and shattered his nose, had to be rebuilt.
Jeez.
Broke his leg, broke his arm. Yeah, I don't know what it is with that kid. He fucking broke everything. So yeah, he should have a sizable drinking problem at this point, but he doesn't yet.
And was that scary for you when he was under?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I remember one of the times he came out, and my wife was with him in the emergency room, and I was at like the Green Bay Chuckle Hut making drunks laugh while they ate chicken wings. And so I called him up when he came out of the surgery, and he was just coming to, and I go, "How did it go?" And he goes, "Dad, it was great." And he said, "And the nurses are hot. They're all Asian." And they were all in the room.
Oh, geez. They've probably heard like way more embarrassing than that. I had a lifelong fear of anesthesia. So my dad is a doctor, a doctor who is like distrustful of other doctors, I think, and just in general opposed to general anesthesia except in a hospital, and opposed to general anesthesia if you can avoid it. So I had oral surgery twice, and I had my wisdom teeth out. All of that under local. It was very unpleasant. I was just very afraid of general. So the first time I ever had it, I was like deathly afraid of it. But then I realized that the drug they give you before they knock you out to relax you, Versed, is like the best I've ever felt in my entire life, ever. I was like, oh my God, this is what it is like to be without anxiety and without sadness and like without any sort of negative. It made me elated. And then you go under general, like light general, a lot doing IVF. So I've been under general a whole bunch of times now. I would say I enjoy it. I don't drink, but I enjoy being under general.
It is amazing when you go under general, that feeling of like, wow, this is why people do heroin.
Yeah.
You know, this is like such an amazing feeling. And if you have an addictive personality, it's really scary. You can some people do that once, and it really can. I can see it setting the stage for getting fucked up for the rest of your life.
I've said before that I'm glad that you can't get Versed on the street. The weird thing is that I've also had fentanyl, which is like heroin, but it's Versed, which is like liquid Xanax, basically. It's one of those. That's the key that fits into my lock, into my pharmacological lock. Which is it for you?
I took hydrocodone for a while because I had shoulder surgery. And, I'm 30 years sober. And so it was very intense for me to feel that good again. And I started taking it a lot. And I had 3 different doctors prescribing it to me. And I was on it for like 6 months, abusing it.
And your wife didn't know, right?
What's that?
You hid it from your wife?
So she knew I was taking some. She didn't know I was taking as much as I was.
Right.
And then eventually I realized I had to get off of it. And it was the darkest 2 days of my life. I literally have never felt, and I have depression. I've been in the fucking trenches,
right,
many times, consistently throughout my life. I never felt anything like this before. And I read later what happens is your receptors for what's the stuff for serotonin literally get clogged up by the opiates. They go in there and they clog it up. So the only thing that can make you feel good is more opiates.
Oh, wow.
Which is why it's so addictive, because then you have a complete lack of any serotonin,
right,
and you get fucking nuts.
And was it physically uncomfortable too, or was it a mental thing?
It was physical and mental. Yeah.
But then it lifted all of a sudden or gradually after 2 days?
Pretty gradually. But then I haven't touched it since. That was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it since. It's scary. Wow. We never give it to our kids, ever.
Has it ever been prescribed to them?
Yes.
And you won't give it to them?
No.
Because you steal it.
That's the other thing. I don't want it in the house. Who knows? You know?
Right. That makes sense.
Have a bad day? Jesus. Have you ever been addicted to anything?
Well, I don't touch anything anymore. I think I've talked about this before. I feel like I had a drinking problem, but I wasn't addicted to alcohol. And I still don't know if I really was an alcoholic or not. I just know that I was engaging in behavior that I didn't want to be engaging in, and a drink was always sort of the first domino. It only ever happened when I was drinking. All my bad decisions only happened when I was drinking.
Right.
So I smoked for a while, but then I was easy to it was easy for me to put that down finally. But I do have a pretty addictive personality.
Yeah.
I do. And I like to play with fire too. Like when I realize that, I really like this, then I sort of, I mess around with it for a little bit too long.
Yeah.
And then I finally am like, okay, I can't do this. Probably like you. Let's do some voicemails.
You rang.
Hey, Alison and Greg. This is Jennifer. I have a question about my 5.5-year-old and my 4-year-old. I was really good about not letting them sleep with me when they were babies, but now as they've gotten older, they won't go to bed without me putting them to bed, reading them stories, staying with them until they fall asleep, and that's fine. But if I leave in the middle of the night and they wake up, they come to my bed. So basically, they're sleeping with me almost all night, every night. And I'm wondering how to break this habit. Any advice? Okay, thanks. Bye.
Jennifer.
Is that the most frequently asked question that we get on Childish?
We get stuff like that a lot. I wonder how long it's been going on, because with Elliot, he was coming into our room really early in the morning and getting in bed with us, which is so sweet, except once he's in our bed, I cannot sleep at all. And I had this feeling of like, this is becoming a problem. I need to figure out what to do. And then all of a sudden, he has just started in the morning. He just gets onto the couch and I'll come out and he'll be out in the living room, like kind of playing by himself. So for Elliot, it was just a phase, I believe. And we didn't do anything. So I'm curious how long this has been going on. Greg, what do you think?
One thing we tried that worked pretty good with Owen was when he would get up, we would bring him back to bed again and then just stay in the room, not in his bed, but in his room, and talk to him about how we're going to go back into our room once you're comfortable, and talk to him. And then he'd get comfortable with you being there. And then I think we even moved further away. Like we sat next to the bed and then towards the door and then out. And it's exhausting because when it's the middle of the night and all you want to do is sleep, all of your discipline about doing the right thing for the long term goes out the window. But if you can force yourself to do that, I really think it's good in the long run. I think having a kid in your bed, I've seen it destroy marriages, honestly. You can't have it.
But I thought you're in favor of co-sleeping.
Yeah, but not once they turn, 3, 4, 5 years old.
I also think with a 4 and 5-year-old, they're old enough to understand. So maybe you could incentivize. Like I know that they have these lights that turn, I don't know, like maybe from red to green or something in the morning. So it's like they know that like you try to stay in bed until the light turns green.
Oh, that's good.
And I've heard of people having luck with those or some kind of reward chart. I feel like bribery and incentivizing might help you here. Thank you for calling in. Good luck with that. I hope you're not too tired. And I hope you have kids that don't kick you, because Elliot did that recently. Okay, here's another one.
Hi, Alison and Greg. My name's Erin, and I just heard your last podcast about top 10 baby names and had to call in because my son's name is Arlo. And funnily enough, I did name him after Arlo Guthrie, but maybe not for the reason you may think. My father was diagnosed with brain cancer and passed away when I was 5 months pregnant. And I was going through his extensive music collection and ran across Arlo Guthrie's album, and I just remember listening to that song Alice's Restaurant. It's a Vietnam War protest song, and it's 18 minutes long. Check it out if you have the time. But we would always sing that in the car together, and it's a great memory. And so that's where my Arlo came from. Love the show, and looking forward to more episodes. Thanks. Bye.
Imagine.
Well, I think I know what song Daniel's going to ask for during oral sex.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. I was gonna say, imagine if that was the song you put on and said, "When this one's over, it's over."
Because you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant, except for Alice. Except a blowjob.
We're all out of that today.
Yeah. I don't think you could last that long.
I mean, the thing is, the actual position becomes uncomfortable, and I know that there's like different ways. Like if you have your knees on the ground or something. But by the way, now that we're on YouTube, I do think my parents are watching. So, hi, Mom and Dad. There was a visual for you. But anyway, yeah, I just feel like you're like 18 at our ages, 18 minutes. You're gonna pay for that the next day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's like you have to prepare for that. You gotta,
Right.
but I think it's about it's about switching up the position, working your way around.
Right.
Some solid ball play, and either side work from either side of the plate. Anyway,
in the same way that we're taught to bend from the knees and like. Especially after like women who have physical discomfort after childbirth, there's all sorts of exercises and like ways to sort of tighten up muscles and whatnot. There's got to be a way during an 18-minute blowjob that your hands, like the stronger parts of your body, can be doing the heavy lifting.
Oh, absolutely. I think if you, I think you can pump the keg for a while you just top it off orally.
Exactly.
That's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
And don't be afraid to get that second hand involved. Little ball play is going to get us there a lot faster.
Right. The thing is, you just need to be supporting yourself because sometimes you're leaning on an elbow and then it's like awkward for the second one. Like basically, you need a third hand to give an amazing blowjob. Or a third. Yeah. Okay. All right. We got one more. Hang on a sec.
This is Sam from San Diego, and I'm calling about my son who is just under 3 years old and, in my opinion, is becoming an asshole. I am getting so frustrated with my kid on a daily basis. I know some of it has to do with COVID quarantine and being at home all day long and not going to daycare, and I am super frustrated and losing my patience all the time, and I am getting frustrated. I just don't know what to do anymore. So I'm curious to see what kind of advice you have for dealing with, I know this is normal, the terrible twos, and they say that even worse threes, but whoa, my kid is such a jerk sometimes, a lot of times during the day. So any advice, and how long is this going to last? Thanks. Bye.
Well, you're in that age. I mean, it is true. The threes, I always found the threes worse than the twos.
Mm-hmm. That I didn't realize that was going to be the case, but it is. You've heard me on this show talk about Elliot just basically being a bully. He recently took my glasses off my face and threw them across the room. And I'm new to glasses, but even though my tormentor was tiny, I did feel bullied.
Yeah.
They're awful. And my kid's an asshole too. However, he's recently become less of an asshole. I feel like I was saying with the climbing into our bed in the morning and now not, I feel like these phases are sort of short-lived, but on aggregate, 3 is an asshole age.
I think it's about, I always found that like running the shit out of them. Like I would take my kid to the beach and we would run and then he'd jump on a boogie board and just fucking ride it for hours. Whatever you can do, put him on a bicycle, buy a trampoline, let him burn that stuff out.
Yeah.
So much of it is they just need to be moving. And during quarantine, I feel for you, man, because there's only so much you can do.
Yes. If you don't have a play kitchen, that's something that Elliot plays with every single day. But I do think someone told me the more upset they get, the more calm you get. And it's really hard because especially if you're an empathetic person, your mood probably is closely tied to theirs. But I really try to get really calm when he's getting worked up, and he gets worked up a lot. Just remember, you're an adult. They're just a 3-year-old. Their frontal lobe is far from being all the way formed. So he's not really in charge of his emotions right now. And so you have to be calm and patient.
Yeah, and I would say if I have one regret in my parenting, it is that I think I overreacted to my kids when they were acting badly. And I never hit them and I never really yelled, but I think I made them feel bad sometimes. I think the way I dealt with their bad behavior was being incredulous instead of understanding that it was developmental. And I think they have a little bit of guilt from the way I treated them. So, like Alison said, be the adults and don't take it personal.
Something I have been thinking a lot about lately is the experience of the second child. Like, I feel like I need to do some reading on birth order and sibling order because I have older brothers, but they're 11 years older than I am. So I essentially was like the oldest because they were not there. So it's like I was we have the same dad, but not the same mom. So I was really my parent, the oldest one, and then my sister came along. So I don't really know what it's like to have an older sibling take toys from you all the time or not share or whatever. And I watch Owen, and at least daily something happens, I would say, that makes him cry. Like he'll want to play with Elliot's toys and Elliot won't let him. And I just find myself worrying, how is that going to shape his personality? They're tiny little things, it's not like a huge trauma, but it still seems like trauma every single day for him that he's getting so bummed out over something. And like, I worry about it. Did that happen with your kids?
Somewhat, not too bad because JoJo was such a firecracker out of the gate, and he was so passive. So it wasn't that much, but that was certainly the case with me and my brother. Mm-hmm. And it did have an effect on me. He was more what sounds like what's going on with you. And yeah, you got to step in, but I think it also just it's going to shape their character. But I think that we maybe we overparent, maybe we protect too much, and you have to just realize that like for forever older siblings have bullied their younger siblings, and it's made them stronger and more independent in a lot of ways. You just got to let it happen within reason.
Right. I mean, I look at it like I know that, so I think I know that, and yet because I didn't personally have that experience, I can't help but look at this and worry about what it's doing to Owen and feel like he deserves to not have to experience that every day. And I should say Elliot is not bullying him. It's just that Owen wants to play with whatever's Elliot's. I mean, I would say Owen is actually the one who is not being respectful of Elliot's stuff and Elliot's space because he's too young to, and oftentimes Elliot is sweet and oftentimes he's not. So I don't know. I guess I need to call into a parenting podcast and ask their advice. Should we do some highs and lows?
Let's do some highs and lows. Why don't you start?
Okay.
Highs and lows.
All right. My high is Owen he had a few words a few months ago and then he just completely stopped. And I mean, he just had like the basics. He had mama, dada, uh-oh. That might have been it. And then he just completely stopped talking and I was worried. What does this mean? But then yesterday he started trying to say peekaboo. So
wow,
that's ambitious, right? To go from your basics to a 3-syllable. And what he said, it doesn't really sound like peekaboo. It's like peekaboo, peekaboo, peekaboo. But he definitely was trying to say it. We would say peekaboo, and then he'd laugh, and then he would try to say it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm encouraged by that because even though in general I'm not that worried about hitting milestones at certain times or whatever, I honestly was beginning to go, okay, what's going on? Why is he not talking at all anymore? So that's my high.
Well, that's exciting. Yeah. So what is it that makes him say peekaboo? Do you go like this or something?
I just say peekaboo to him. I just go, Owen, say peekaboo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in general, we do play that, but just say peekaboo is super entertaining to him. Maybe I should be worried. I should be worried about that because he loves just hearing say peekaboo.
Well, that's big. That's a big one. My high was we had a really nice day yesterday. That's all. Just simply a nice day. We got up somewhat early. We got on our bikes and we did a 20-mile bike ride.
Wow, Fitz
Yeah.
dogs.
Yeah, we went from Venice down to Manhattan Beach. It was a perfect fucking day. And, just the view going down. You drive through the marina, past all the boats, and then you get to the beach, and then you drive down. And we stopped, and we had a nice breakfast and some coffee, walked around. And then when we got home, we jumped in the beach before we got home in Venice. Got home, jumped in the outdoor shower, rinsed it off, into the hot tub,
Look at you.
and then sitting on the couch reading the Sunday paper all day.
That's so nice. Is there still bioluminescence?
No, that's over.
Nah, damn it.
Yeah, we went down there for that though. If people don't know about it, there was these single cell organisms in the water, and they get excited when they get touched, and they light up blue. I think it's a biological thing to scare off prey and predators. And
Right, they're the prey.
so at night we would go down to the beach, and when the waves would crash, bright blue lines would show up in the middle of the ocean. So we went down. It was like 11 o'clock at night one night. And did I talk about this already on the podcast?
I think you might have, yeah.
Okay. And we watched her surf, and there was a trail of blue coming off the back of her board. It was so badass.
That's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that happened like early on in quarantine. But I did want to go see it. Or no, I guess it was like
Yeah, it was early on. It was like in the
Yeah.
first couple weeks.
right. I did want to see it, so I've missed it. Now, will
Well-
it come back next year?
You were probably busy protesting.
Right. And people are like, why are you all out here alone with your sign? And I'm like, just you wait. Does it happen every year? Do you know? I know
No,
you're not-
no.
Oh, really?
It doesn't happen at all.
This is
It's
a real
very
Haley's
rare.
Comet kind of. God damn it! God
Yeah, it's very rare.
damn it!
Yep.
Oh well. I had trouble thinking of a low, which I feel like means.
Well, maybe
things
this is
are-
your low. This is your low. You're realizing that you're never going to see a blue biophosphorus.
No, I do actually have another low.
All right.
But that is one of my lows. By the way, I remember when Bob Saget had like 600 highs and 4,000 lows.
Yeah.
I should have explained it's one high and one low.
Well, I think it's whatever you want to make of it. You know, if
Okay.
you want to pile on and you're Bob Saget, God bless you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank
Great
you for
having
coming on.
him. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, okay, so my low is I have gotten into a really bad habit of going to bed really late and then being tired all day or taking a nap. It's like it perpetuates, but probably because I'm not getting up. I don't know. I don't know how to break the cycle, but basically I hate myself when I'm going to bed at 3 and then taking a long nap the next day. So,
Yeah.
but I'm just not getting tired early. I'm having trouble sleeping. So anyway, it's not a huge low, but my low is like my sleep schedule is making me feel like a loser.
Sleep is, I think, the number one thing that controls your mood. I mean,
Right.
you gotta get that sleep in. It's tough.
I have always been a night owl. However, after having Elliot, I realized I can't do that anymore. And I started going to sleep at 10 and getting up at like 5 or 6. And I felt like I had discovered the secret to just feeling good about my productivity. Because by noon, I'd be like, I've done it all. I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt so good then. It's just so hard to do that.
Yeah.
What's your low?
I was on the beach with my buddy Dennis, and we're just sitting there looking out at the waves, and nearby is a beautiful young woman, and she's doing yoga on the sand. Yoga pants on, tank top, got her back to us, but fantastic buttocks, great legs. And
Now, fantastic buttocks for you, like ample, tight. What do you
yoga
look for?
buttocks, like muscled and round.
Sure. Okay.
I like a bigger buttocks. And then this woman turned around. He had long hair, and it was a gentleman. In fact, a guy with a ponytail.
Okay.
And me and Dennis didn't say anything for a long time. We both saw that it was a guy, and we just kind of looked in the other direction and we let it go. But that was a little weird. That
Did
was
it make
my
you
low.
feel uncomfortable with yourself?
Well, I felt bad because, first of all, I felt bad that I was ogling a woman on the beach. But when somebody's doing yoga near
Right.
you,
with
it's
that
like,
kind of butt.
with that kind of butt, it's like you're going to look. And so I think I felt double dirty. And
How long had the ogling been going on?
30 to 35 minutes.
Oh my God. That's a long time.
Yeah. Maybe if he'd done a couple more like down dogs where his
would've
face
thought
was
it-
hanging
yeah.
towards us, maybe we would have figured it out.
But was he an attractive man?
Oh, gorgeous. Yeah, he was Filipino, I'm guessing.
Okay.
And, and the braid was long. It was a very long braid of hair. I would say he was potentially transitioning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just look at it. And by the way, I don't think that I would be able to look at it this way because I am of an older generation too. But maybe you can just look at it like it doesn't matter the gender. You found this human being attractive. And
That's right.
And that is good.
And when you talk about transitioning, how gay are you if you wait for the full transition? I mean, if it's a guy and the gentleman has transitional surgery, at what point would a straight man make love to this person without it being gay?
Ooh, this is a brain teaser.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer. Do you have an answer?
I don't, but I almost found out on the beach that day.
Let's do the Instagram comments.
Okay, let's do Instagram comments.
You wrote.
Okay, so on Friday, we asked you, what's the weirdest thing of your parents you've ever found? And this was inspired by Bob Saget saying that he found barnyard porn on his mom's computer or something, right? Or barnyard animals. He found something upsetting on his mom's computer.
Right.
Okay. So here are some responses. And some were sent directly and some were, if it's a comment, I'm going to read the name of the person too, because that was public. So Zombie Mom said a Costco-sized box of condoms. AJ Stabbins.
A Costco-sized box of condoms. That's a lot of condoms.
They're into frugality and they're into fucking.
I think of condoms based on the fact that I carried a condom in my wallet for probably 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Every guy did. Every teenage boy has a wallet with a circle embedded in the leather from carrying that one goddamn condom around. And then I remember the first time I used it, opened it up, that baby broke right away.
Oh no.
So
before you got it on?
Yes, that's why it's a 3-pack. It's a 3-pack. You keep them in rotation. You keep them moving. Costco, the last 500 of those condoms are going to be dried out by the time you try to put them on.
Right. You heard it here. Mr. Ender Ortega, old VHS tape with no label, paused at a very specific time. It was an old 90s movie that had 2 nude scenes. One, a white woman was kidnapped by a tribe, tied up nude, and they were dancing around her. Second, same woman was tied up, and they were oiling her up don't get a baton, Greg, while she was tied up somewhere else. I developed a hairy bush fetish. I was 10.
Wow. That's intense. Got a hairy bush fetish. Now that's got to be tough depending on the woman that you are dating or potentially even married to.
Right.
Because not all women are capable of the hairy bush.
Right.
Say you're
women,
dating a woman who's like Danish.
Or who's had laser hair removal.
Right. Maybe you could get one of those gherkins.
A merkin?
A merkin.
A gherkin is a small pickle.
That is dangerous, though. The VHS tapes, and my friend Mike Gibbons talks about this. Like, if you get busted with that, they know exactly the peak if you rewind it by 12 seconds, you know the peak of what it is that person is turned on by.
Right. Okay, Practicing Wizard said, a picture of my head coming out of my mom's vagina. I'm scarred for life, and I still don't understand the need to get in there and snap a photo. Okay, so I never understood the people who needed to get that on film either. However, our doula with Elliot took a picture when he was crowning, and I'm happy I have that photo. Mostly because Daniel was like, your vagina got huge. And I didn't know what he meant. But now that I've seen that photo, I'm like, oh, damn, I do know now.
Wow.
Did
you have a big bush too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big bush. Yeah, but my bush was so big that it's like bush up here, vagina down here. I mean, there's really it's really two different beasts.
It didn't look like the baby was coming out with an afro.
No, the baby was like, it was like the baby was carrying a bushy umbrella. That's how far away it was.
Got it.
Did you guys take pictures of the babies coming out?
No, what we did though is I took photos and of course they're hidden. Where are they hidden? The sock drawer. So easily findable by anybody that's a house guest.
Yeah.
It is, I took pictures with a Polaroid. I put Erin in the same exact spot. And I took photos of her front on and sideways, completely naked from the first week of her pregnancy, or, when we found out she was pregnant, however many weeks that was, right into I think it was every 3 weeks, I took the pictures right up until she had the baby. And you could see the breasts get bigger and the stomach get bigger and
you dirty dog. Why totally?
And the best
naked,
part
though?
is you can flip them. You flip it with your thumb and you can see it just expand.
Many people take those kind of photos, but they don't do it totally naked. But this was back before Instagram.
I don't know why I didn't have her wear panties. That was a weird decision, but that's the way we did it.
Yep. Do your kids even know these exist?
My kids have been through all my drawers. Oh, they absolutely have seen them.
Okay.
That'll teach them.
Real little Jerry Seinfeld says a copy of The Joy of Sex and a roach. Another person, Joy of Sex. I don't own that book. Do you? Is that even still a good book?
I would imagine. I mean, is it seems like you just need the Kama Sutra.
I also don't own that one. Here's a, this is not sexual, but it's gross. RSJK2. I found the tip of my dad's finger. While riding his horse in an indoor arena at dusk, he put his finger in the metal ring to open the electrical box to turn on the lights. The horse jerked sideways, sending the tip of his finger into the dirt.
Wow. That's,
gross.
Yeah, tip of the finger.
It's like something you offer, and to you, a tip of my finger. Doff the tip of your finger. I'm wondering the time, if you found it soon enough, then maybe they could have sewn it back on, but it sounds like that didn't happen. Yuck. Okay. Run for Beer says my mom's quote unquote massager in the back of the closet. Okay, this one confuses me. Silver FX 23. My very conservative Baptist Mexican parents came home 2 days early from vacation. A box of condoms, 2 beers, I was 17, and the sex towel on the living room floor. Not a word has been said about it to this day. I'm 44. I think I figured it out. I think that's the weirdest thing his parents found. That was his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Make Like a Tree, 3 pounds of mushrooms. Misty Yao says they're homemade porn videos. And then here's one that...
No! Whoa. They're homemade porn videos?
Yeah, and then the barf emoji.
What do you do with them is the question.
You put them right back where they were. You make it seem like nothing happened. And then you go and you just bleach your whole face.
And you drink for 6 months after that. Wow. Did you ever make a porn video with anybody?
No. I know so much better than to make anything like that I would be afraid would be leaked. Not that there's a humongous demand, but still. What about you? I bet you have.
We made a tape, Aaron and I, early on, and I've gone through so many camcorders and I have so many boxes of tapes. It's in one of them, unmarked, and I don't know which one. And I also used to use the tape like, here's my trip to Boston.
Right. No, you do a bunch of stuff on one tape.
Yeah. Yeah. So I gotta take a couple days during the quarantine and go through those tapes.
How did it go down though? No pun. Like, were you like, let's make a porn, or because
I don't think we called it a porn. I think we just wanted to see what it looked like.
I've looked in a mirror before and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Don't need to see that.
It wasn't that pleasing seeing myself like that. When I'm in my own head having sex,
yes,
I am fucking Denzel Washington. I'm beautiful. And watching that, I look like Lou from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. just horrible.
I had a similar thing of like in my head, oh, like, I bet I know what I look like. I bet I look really good right now. And then we were in a hotel and there was like a mirrored closet and I caught a glimpse. I was like, it's so untoned.
Yeah.
There's so much pale jiggling happening. Okay.
Yeah.
And then here's one that, no name. My mom had colon cancer and had to have part of her colon removed. I took her to a follow-up visit in which she asked, in front of me, if she could still have anal sex. She sobbed like someone died when her surgeon said he advised against it.
She sobbed? Wow. I guess some women love it.
Imagine asking that in front of your daughter, though.
Yeah.
You must love it that much.
Yeah. Wow.
But also imagine if there were no stigma about all of it. I can barely imagine it. But like, imagine if it weren't so awkward having any sort of sex talk in front of your kids. But I don't want to live in that world.
No, there's a documentary on Netflix. It's called something about West Virginia, the wild world of West Virginia or something. And it's about
the cult?
It's not a cult. It's a family in West Virginia. And they're like real red. It's like Hatfield McCoy's kind of thing. They're in the Appalachians and they run this town basically, but they're all drug addicts. They're all scamming. They're selling drugs. They're on Social Security. They're on welfare and they all sleep with each other's husbands and they talk about sex like in front of each other. It's just very like, it's very just raw. It's crazy. And I think that like people that are, I know I'm Catholic. We don't talk anything about sex. My parents never did. We never would. And I think that's unnatural to be that protective about it.
Right. Yeah. My parents were very, very, very private to this day. And I prefer that to the alternative. But I don't know that that's right either.
I mean, my grandfather was one of 13 in a 2-room mud fucking house in Ireland. And I just think, how'd you get number 3 and 4? Never mind 5 through 13.
Right. Yeah, that had got to have been a real free-for-all.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, we've done it again.
We did it again, Alison.
Once again, we've done it. I feel like we should say... Not only do I feel like we should say, I'm going to say, you guys, thank you for listening. We love hearing from you. We love that you listen. We hear all the time that the show means something to you, and that means a ton to us. So thank you so much for appreciating what we put out there. And tell a friend and click 5 stars and all that stuff.
Yes. Thank you guys. And thanks for ordering cameos. I've been doing a lot of cameos lately, Alison. It's been crazy.
That's great.
Yeah, so sign up. I'll send you a message. Send your friend a message for Father's Day, maybe, for your husband. And the other podcasts are Fitzdog Radio and the Sunday Papers, which comes out on Sunday. Me and Mike Gibbons go through the news.
I'm also on Cameo. I have not been doing as many as Greg, it seems like. I've been doing some, but not Greg levels. But I'm capable of Greg levels, you guys. So check me out on Cameo. Father's Day, yes. I'm also on Patreon, patreon.com/Alison Rosen, and listen to my podcast, Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. And if you want to see how beautiful we are, and you want to see Greg's shaved head, which is under a cap right now. There we go. Oh, might be time to shave.
Yeah, it's
Again.
getting there. Yeah.
Greg's whiskery head.
Got my
stubbly
5
head.
o'clock shadow wrapping around.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Go follow us on or subscribe on YouTube. Watch our YouTube videos. YouTube.com/Alison Rosen is where you can find all of that stuff, and it's super fun. Yeah, we've done it.
We did it again. I'm Greg Fitzsimmons.
I'm Alison Rosen,
and we are Childish.